We're doing a simplified semi plug-and-play remote starter that activates from the OEM remote on a 2016 Mitsubishi Lancer. We're going to get started with the disassembly. I'm going to start the disassembly by removing the two screws from the lower dash. We're going to remove the plastic push clips from underneath the dash also. Use a small screwdriver or a pick tool. And we have 3 of them. We go ahead and remove all 3. We also have one back by the gas pedal, right over here. We're going to remove that push clip as well. I'm going to go ahead and remove the lower dash. Grab it and apply outward pressure. You're going to be careful not to snap the dash. Go ahead and get it to release here. Be a little bit stubborn, and we're going to unplug any accessories we have here. Now when you release the dash, you may leave some of your clips behind. You can go ahead and you can push these clips out once you get the dash piece off and reinstall them on the piece that we removed here. I'll show you real quick. So there's a tab here where the actual clip came off. Snap the clip back on. There was another tab here. And anywhere else these clips came off, we want to find them and snap them back on the dash. We're going to remove the 4 bolts from the airbag assembly. We're going to release the airbag. We're going to go ahead and we're going to just stand it up in the corner while we work. Be careful not to pull on the wiring. Also going to remove the steering column cover plastic. Going to go ahead and pull the screws out of it. It looks like there's 2 screws. We've got them both out. We've got the cover moving. We're going to apply pressure to the seam with our thumb. Straight pressure right on the seam behind the directional. The column will separate, and we'll go ahead and we'll release it. We'll pull it, spread it apart so it can go over the ignition switch, and then we'll go ahead and remove the column cover plastic. So we're going to put a little pressure on the seam on this side and get it to unclip. At this point we have access to the ignition switch. It's a little bit easier to get our wiring here. I don't have time to go step by step through this job. If you buy this kit, I'm going to show you the connection points. So the first thing we do is we run our 2 wires labeled ignition switch, ignition and starter over to the ignition switch. So we want to catch the white wire in the center terminal right here. If you look at the guide, the positions of the wires are correct, but the actual colors are a little different. So we're connecting our pink to the white ignition wire, and we're connecting our yellow starter wire to this light blue wire, and they're both right next to each other on the plug. It's the white and the light blue right here, the 2 center pins. So now we're going to move over to the can high, can low. Can high's yellow, can low is light green, and they're the twisted pair right here. If you follow this harness up, it plugs into the immobilizer right here. So there's where you're going to get your can connections. So now we're going to go over here, and we're going to look at these 2 wires. we're doing left and right parking lights. This is our right parking light, the yellow wire. I'm just going to show you where that is. Get my plastic tool here so I can get in there. So we're looking at this top corner pin right here for the yellow wire. And then if we go over 1, 2, 3 pins over to this brown wire right here next to the red, there's our other parking light wire. You should test these with a test light before connecting them. We hook the white wire to one of them and the orange wire. The Evo 1 will use the ignition wires in a special configuration as parking light wires. So we can get the actual right and left wires right from the Evo here. So then our next connection is our ground. I put a screw up here. Have to have a bare metal ground. Nothing like this with plastic involved is suitable. Has to be metal on metal. So now the next, our power connection, the guide says to ring this huge wire right here and to connect our power up in here. I didn't do that. I always grab the power in the back of this accessory panel. Depending on the options you have will depend on how many fuses you have in here. But if you look on the back, try to get you a good picture. Okay, you see I've grabbed that red wire. The blue would work also. So I've tested it. It's constantly hot. I've connected my power source here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start programming our unit. So our harness looks like this right here. If you buy the kit, this is how your harness will arrive. We have our device. We're going to locate the program button on the top of the device. We're going to be holding the program button down while we insert the 6-pin power plug. When we do this, the lights on the front are going to begin to cycle. There are 3 lights. There's a blue, there's a yellow, and a red. We are going to release the button as soon as we see the blue light come on. It's the first light that's going to come on. So I'm going to hold the button. I'm going to plug in the 6-pin. Blue light's going to come on. I'm going to release the button. If I fail to release it, I can unplug and repeat the procedure. If I'm too slow to release it on the first time it comes on, if you keep the button down, the lights will cycle through the colors. We'll release the second time the blue light comes on. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to plug in the 20-pin plug. And then we're going to plug the CAN plug in on the top. Now we're going to place the key in the ignition. We're going to turn the ignition to the run position. We do this, the blue light's going to go out. It's going to come back on and flash rapidly if everything is correct. If it doesn't come back on and flash rapidly, you have bad CAN connections right here. So we're going to go ahead and shut the key off and remove it from the ignition. The red and yellow lights are going to alternate. This is letting us know that it's time to run the decryptor process to complete the module programming. We're going to unplug the module. And we're going to bring it to our PC and connect it to our FlashLink programmer and run the FlashLink Manager programmed and decryptor. Okay, so you've downloaded the FlashLink Manager. We're going to go ahead, we're going to plug our module in to our programmer. When we do this, our FlashLink Manager program is going to detect the module. And it's going to bring up some settings here in the program. So we're going to let that happen. Okay, so what we want to do here, this is what's called wizard mode. Pain in the ass. I don't know why they have it. If you don't know how to flash, you don't belong in the business. So we're going to select use pro mode. If you don't have that screen that comes up, what you want to do is click this gear cog in the upper right hand corner. And right here it'll say go to pro mode. You click this and you'll go to pro mode and the screen will look like the screen that I have here. If you don't do that and you stay in wizard mode, it is going to work out for you. Currently they don't support it in wizard mode, so who knows what they're going to do in the future. So right here we want to click the decryptor tab. Now we're going to have this transfer key data screen. So we're going to go ahead and scroll down. I'm going to click Send Data. So the decryptor is going to start decrypting the key codes. We're going to make sure this box is checked. It is by default. We're going to let the decryptor software run here until it loads the module and lets us know that the programming is complete. So we're just going to go ahead and wait. Takes a little bit. I'm not going to, pause the camera here. I'm just going to let it go. Oh, here we go. So it's updating the module. And when it's completed, it will give us a screen that says that the programming is complete. So now you either need a flash link programmer or what's called the flash link Lite, which is a less expensive alternative to a programmer, but it doesn't give you access to the module completely. It'll only let you do the decryption process with the flash link Lite. I'm using a regular flash link programmer. Okay, so it's telling us the process is complete and we're ready to disconnect the module and plug it back into the vehicle. So we're back in our vehicle. We're just going to plug the module in. We're going to start with the 6-pin. We're not going to hold any buttons after the decryptor. We're just plugging in. As a matter of fact, we're going to be very careful not to push the button while we plug in. We'll have to do the procedure over. So now if your decryption doesn't go right the first time, remember, decryption is limited. It's not going to let you decrypt the module over and over. It's going to lock you out if you exceed, I believe, 4 decryptions. So I always put my phone number on the device. If you have any issues and it's not working, you can go ahead and text me at the number on the device, and I will either text or call you back. So with our module plugged in, we're going to go ahead and test it. We have our CAN plug plugged in, our 20-pin, and our 6-pin. We're outside of our vehicle. We're going to trigger remote start. Going to lock the doors 3 times. Okay, our vehicle is up and running. Our remote stays active while the engine is running, giving us the ability to unlock the doors from the remote. We can also shut the engine off. Now remember, our module will accept long-range aftermarket antenna kits, and it will accept the MyCar smartphone controller. You can pair your device with a MyCar smartphone controller. Very easy, one plug install. The device can also be paired with the Fortin RF642W or any other Fortin two-way remote. And it can also be paired with Fortin one-way remotes like the RFK411. It can also be paired with Crime Stopper remotes as well. So if you want to take a look at my zip up and my wire routing, put the airbag back in. There's the wire routing. And if you look back here, you'll see the module. It's zip tied to another module, a factory module. Pretty clean install.